Wembley Stadium in London, a post-war record, 90,000 fans, boss. And I tell you, there were 90,000 people in the stadium for Anthony Joshua's coming out party, the 2012 Olympic gold medalist who was a national hero in the UK because he won the gold in London, England, facing, well, a guy who's going to go into the Hall of Fame, Wladimir Klitschko, next to Joe Louis, the longest reigning heavyweight champion. In fact, if you combine his reigns, he's been heavyweight champion longer than Joe Louis, but unfortunately, Klitschko's era of heavyweights weren't that good. So, and he really didn't connect with people in North America because he was selling out 50,000-seat stadiums in Germany. And after getting knocked out a couple of times early in his career, Emanuel Stewart reinvented him and made him use his size defensively, and he was known for the jab and grab. And buddy, a year-and-a-half layoff, the longest of his career. 41 years of age, coming off the worst performance of his career, one of the worst fights, period, you will see, with Tyson Fury upsetting him before Fury was beset by mental health and drug issues. It was set to be a fight that we hoped would live up to its billing. We hoped would send 90,000 people home happy, and boy, did it ever. I will never forget Saturday, April 29th, being at ringside for not just one of the best heavyweight title fights, but one of the best fights I've ever seen, as Anthony Joshua, at the age of 27, answered all the questions he needed to answer, and Wladimir Klitschko, at the age of 41, probably rewrote his legacy. He will now be remembered if he chooses to retire, and they do have a rematch clause, by the way, in a fight that ended with Joshua being knocked down for the first time in his career after knocking down Klitschko, and then coming back in the 11th round, dropping Klitschko again twice before referee David Fields stopped the fight. But, boss, I mean, of course, I'm biased. I was there. What did you think of this fight? Because it is being held, it's still being talked about today. And that never happens with boxing.
No, it was a really great fight. I loved it as well. And 90,000, that's a perfect round number. So not 90,000 to 1?
90,000. I counted, dude. Yeah, okay. That's why I came home on Monday. I was supposed to come home on Sunday.
So the people waited for you?
I videotaped the arena time-lapse, and I counted. Anyway, it was an amazing atmosphere.
The thing was this. Both the same height, big, strong Joshua comes in. I mean, the first round, yeah, everything was the feeling-out process started there. But I really liked what Joshua was doing, started throwing straight punches to the body, and I truly believe that made a big difference. And suddenly, yeah, that was the coolest. And in round number 5, when he dropped him, you know, everybody thought, including him, the fight was over.
Well, he
started to
a
celebrate.
Premature celebration. Yeah. I think it cost him. I think he had an adrenaline dump there, especially what we saw happen the rest of the round and round 6.
Yeah, because it was not a 10-8 round anymore, right? I mean, he was started to come back, so it was a 10-9 round, even after he got dropped. So Klitschko started doing really well, and then the next round, he dropped him with his patented 1-2, and man, he sucked him hard in the head. It was not just it was a full-on straight punch, right straight that connected. Joshua, his answers, questions answered.
First time in his career. First time in his career. He was hurt. He was hurt by amateur rival Dillian White a few fights back, and again, shook him in the second round, answered some questions, but he was dropped by one of the, Klitschko's right hand is one of the best the sport's ever seen.
Yep.
Emanuel Stewart said he is right cross and his jab too, right up there with Lennox Lewis, Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali. But I mean, to see Joshua get up and not only survive, boss, but then stop Klitschko in round 11.
Yeah,
he became a superstar globally that night. There were 10 million people watching in Germany. They say they broke the British pay-per-view records for Mayweather and Pacquiao. And for us on Showtime, it was the largest audience ever for an afternoon fight live. HBO had the tape-delayed broadcast. People, of course, talking word of mouth. They had a decent audience. It was something the sport of boxing needed. It was definitely something that the Moribund heavyweight division needed. And, boss, this now blows the division up totally. Yeah. Because you had Deontay Wilder at ringside, the American, who's 38-0 with 37 knockouts. Young, bronze medalist at the Olympics. You have Joseph Parker, who's undefeated, although he is fighting this weekend in New Zealand against a short notice replacement. He's undefeated with knockout power. In fact, if you look at Joshua, Wilder, and Parker now, 3 young champions, total of 79-0 with 74 knockouts.
Yeah, that is a scary thing. And then, of course, Fury wants to come. He started training because he needs to lose a lot of weight, I guess, right? He looked giant.
Well, he hasn't. Oh, yeah, because he hasn't been. Obviously, he's had issues with mental health.
Yep,
as we talked about drugs. Was stripped of the belts that they fought for on Saturday. But now he is training in Spain with middleweight champion Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you heard Joshua, smart businessman. And that's the thing about Joshua, you guys. 27 years of age.
Good-looking guy.
Looks like a Greek god.
Yep.
Incredibly personable. And by the way, has some baggage in the past. At 18 years of age, he was going down that crooked road.
Yep.
Had been in trouble with the law. Even wearing his Great Britain Olympic tracksuit, getting stopped with possession of cannabis, which is a joke, by the way, but needless to say, against the law. And so he had one of those electric bracelets on his ankle at one time. And then his cousin brought him to the gym at 18 and said, we need to make you better than you are right now.
He started at 18 to
brother.
boxing, and then he became a gold medalist.
A handful of heavyweight fights, okay? Amateur fights. And now he's only 19-0 now with 19 knockouts. His first and true test was against Klitschko. This guy took advantage of the platform that was given to him. And like we say, boss, you always look for certain answers to questions. And for Anthony Joshua, could he overcome adversity? He was knocked down for the first time in his career. I thought he was finished.
It looked really bad for him because Klitschko was smelling the victory and he started to tune it up. But
Klitschko didn't do as much as he said he could have in hindsight. He should have turned it up even more when he had him hurt.
That's in hindsight.
2020.
That's what happens. And good for Joshua. Can take a punch. He can go out. He can come out for round number 8 because before that he never did that.
That's right.
That was a
first
good
time
thing.
he's been past the
Klitschko
7th.
gained a lot of fans, including me, because that performance was an unbelievable performance. I instantly became a huge fan of his, and I wasn't before.
It rewrote his legacy because he showed that he has the heart, and what the fight was devoid of, something we feared, was the jab and grab. If anything, it was Joshua in the second half of the fight initiating clinches, especially after he was trying to still clean out the cobwebs.
Also,
he was smart. He's
he was
very
smart.
mature. He already has veteran tricks, and kudos to his trainer, Rob McCracken. But again, we take our hat off to two incredible prize fighters. I mean, I said it during the broadcast. And by the way, let's yes, this is self-serving, but I've been told it's some of the best work I've ever done. And for the listeners who didn't get to see it, if you're listening in Canada, let's take you through the final couple of minutes of what is the front runner for the fight of the year. 90,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. Anthony Joshua, Wladimir Klitschko to unify the heavyweight championship.
He can take control back of the round easily.
So there you go, boss. A couple of patented Ronaldo lines for you. People seem to have liked the Joshua smoked Klitschko like a Monte Cristo. I know you're a Cuban cigar aficionado.
Monte Cristos are great. I love the Monte Cristos.
And to top it off, though, my man, you've just mentioned it earlier. Klitschko now at 41. There's a 2-fight deal they made. Can he do any better than he did at 41 against Anthony Joshua? Or should he say, you know what? I think this has all of a sudden erased all that ill will. You just said it. You weren't a fan of Klitschko's going into the fight. All of a sudden, you got massive respect for him. He's made a ton of money. He's an incredibly intelligent man, has a significant other in Hayden Panettiere, the Hollywood actress. They have a child. He can do whatever he wants, write his own ticket.
But he's
I
a
wouldn't
fighter.
mind seeing the rematch,
what I mean.
but I think it will be worse for Klitschko the second time around.
You know, but that's for Klitschko to find out, and I think he really wants that, and he might retire after that fight, winning or losing, because he thinks what is haunting him right now is what you just said. I could have done more at that particular moment, but it's a risk you're taking because it's the 6th round. You still have 6 to go after that. Do you? What happens? Because then he's going to be in that same situation that Joshua was in for a couple of rounds.
And what makes Joshua, to me, must-see television, what makes the heavyweight division must-see is we can hearken back to the golden eras of the heavyweights. There have been 2 of them. The first, of course, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Kenny Norton, so many other great heavyweights, Ernie Shavers, amazing amount of heavyweight action in the 70s. Then, of course, came Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe. But, brother, again, with all due respect to Wladimir and his brother Vitaly Klitschko, they had a stranglehold on the heavyweight division for over a decade. There was nothing to be seen or heard from America because all the American heavyweights are playing in the NFL or the NBA, making millions upon millions of dollars without getting, punched in the face repeatedly. And so to have a guy like Joshua now come out, he's not perfect. He'll be the first to tell you that. We saw evidence of that.
That's why he's so good.
That's right. And that's the same with Deontay Wilder, with
I'm looking
Joseph
forward to
Parker,
that.
with Luis Ortiz, with Tyson Fury. None of them are going to dominate like Floyd Mayweather did. None of them, thankfully, for a lot of fans, have the mind of Floyd Mayweather. They come to fight. And no matter what we say about the sport of boxing, and man, Showtime has had an incredible run this year, and I hope it continues because the fights have been amazing. And I'll be the first to say, 2016, good riddance. 2017, incredible. And then to bring you Joshua and Klitschko last Saturday, to keep it going, for the first time that I can remember in my 5 years of doing Showtime boxing, no matter where I've been over the past few days, people are talking about Joshua and Klitschko.
Yeah, the only one that I have in my head is the knocking on glass. Is that going to work? You just knock
well,
on
for
glass.
me, knocking on one of their glass jaws. So yeah, I'm knocking on one of their glass jaws right there, because that's what makes it so entertaining for the
it was
heavyweight
awesome.
division.
I can't wait. Deontay Wilder, that will be something.
Well,
also
and we'll have to wait and see
together.
if it's going to be Klitschko 2. He does have a mandatory Kubrat Pulev, who was a winner.
Immediate? No.
His promoter Eddie Hearn told us that Joshua will fight again later this year. So I would love to see him in America. Deontay Wilder as a unification fight would be the welcome to the coming to America moment. But again, just excited about the heavyweights. And you know what?